This is uh, this is Wright Thurston. We're going to get started here in just a second. I just heard from my dear friend Raymond, who somehow is having a challenge getting onto this, but he's there and he's trying. And I think Steve will go ahead and help him. I appreciate so very much all of you getting on with us this evening. I realize that you're calling in from many different places around the world tonight. And as you can see, we're going to do a follow up to the presentation that I had with you last Friday. And this will be just on the digital currencies and Bitcoin. I'm sure when Raymond hops in, he'll have something to say to us. But I'm showing that it's almost the top of the hour. I I was raised in a military family, so my dad always told me to start things on time, and we're going to do that. And I'm sure Steve can help Raymond get on. But let's just begin by saying again, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Um, I want you to know that this is what I'm calling lesson 2 of how to make money investing in the digital or cryptocurrencies. Lesson 1 really was just the introductory information I gave you on Friday prior to talking about the free and discounted travel and on collectibles for fun and profit and tax deductions. Um, as I said, this is one of the first international live online trainings that Raymond and I have done. Typically, we're just going to one particular country. Tonight, I know that we have friends on, as you can see, from England, Canada, Australia, the United States, and possibly some other places we're not aware of. So welcome. Thank you to all of you for joining us. Just a few thoughts to begin with. I want to say how much we appreciate you. I know Raymond appreciates you as longtime clients. I'm very excited for the opportunity to work with you, and hopefully together we can make 2018 your best year ever. I want to say congratulations as well. You know, in life sometimes people hesitate. They don't always take the action they should to reach out and grab those golden opportunities. But you have, and for those of you I've been communicating with already by email, great questions, and I'm just excited to have you as part of my VIP success team. Mentoring. I maybe mentioned on Friday evening that I've had many, many mentors in my life. In many ways, Raymond has mentored me on many things. When I started speaking in Canada 26 years ago, Raymond taught me what I needed to know about the differences between investing in Canada as opposed to investing in the United States. All my mentors encouraged me when I was younger that as I had more success, that I would turn around and help mentor others. And I hope you will do the same with your associates, but especially with your children and possibly grandchildren. I love this saying that everything you want in life is just outside your comfort zone. And new things are always a little different to appreciate at first, but I think as you get comfortable with these things, you're going to see great blessings in 2018. Now, just a quick word. You all should have received 3 emails from me so far, and I've numbered them 1, 2, and 3. Following this broadcast this evening, I'm going to send you a 4th email. So you're going to get an additional bonus book entitled ebook on how to buy more Bitcoin. I think after us chatting tonight, you'll be prepared for it. It's a little more technical, but it has some great information. I'm also going to be sending in the next day or two email number 5, which will contain additional collectible bonuses, the consulting number for my colleague that will help you in any way on the consulting side, on the collectible side of things. Don't forget that anytime in 2018 in the future, you've got a ticket for you and a guest to a millionaire's retreat. You've got your 4 months of consulting free with me personally, no staff people, directly with me. You've got 2 free nights at the resort that I'm an owner of, Red Frog Beach Resort and Spa. I hope you've had a chance to look at that website and get excited. And of course, you've got 2 tickets for the Power Summit, which will be on the free and discounted travel and the collectibles. And in the evening or on the lunch hour, we can certainly informally chat on the cryptocurrencies. Again, I give full credit to Raymond. He really twisted my arm. He said, I want you to make this as great as you can for my very best clients that are calling in. So I know you'll be very pleased with it. And I don't want you to worry. I know starting in a day or two, you're going to be busy with year-end things, holiday things, everything that I offer, the consulting, the future millionaire retreats, the Power Summit, none of that will ever expire, okay, until you've had a chance to use it. So just know we're going to take great care of you. I was watching actually a documentary the other evening, and it said that of all the people on the earth, 2.5 billion of them have no access to a bank account. And I alluded to this on Friday, saying there are a lot of people in third world countries that all they've got access to is currency. And as their countries print a lot of currency and they go into hyperinflation, they lose everything they have. One of the wonderful things about cryptocurrency, it's literally like having a bank in your phone or on your phone, because anyone on earth that can get to the internet can safely put their money via these cryptocurrencies. Just another little interesting tidbit you may not be aware of, they actually launched the first Bitcoin in January the 3rd of 2009, so nearly 9 years ago. And the first recorded transaction ever was from someone in Europe with someone in, I believe, the United States. And a person asked what someone would give him for 10,000 Bitcoin back then. And someone said, well, I'll get you 2 pizzas that total $25. So as you can see, 9 years ago, 1 Bitcoin at that time was less than 1/4 of 1 cent or 1 penny. You'll see in a minute that that probably is the most expensive pizza in the history of the world as time has gone on. I spoke for the first time internationally on this topic 19 days ago on November 30th. So for those of you listening tonight, I'd say the vast majority of my own clients internationally have not heard me talk on this yet. I want you to observe what the prices were of Bitcoin in particular 19 days ago. It had gone over $10,000 for the first time. So let's go back to my example. $10,000 times 10,000 Bitcoin today would be $100 million for that 1 pizza. I wonder if in hindsight that person wished he would have held on to that money, but of course in hindsight, who knows? You're seeing a screenshot here of something I'm going to recommend to you later this evening, something where you can look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin as often as you'd like. These are the 3 that I have personally invested in. There's over 1,000 cryptocurrencies, but I'm going to share some strategies on investing in these a little later this evening. And then, of course, we're going to get Raymond signed up so he can buy and sell Bitcoin, and we're going to do a Q&A with him, assuming he can get on the phone. I know he's here. I just talked to him, and I believe Steve, his technical person, is helping him try to get online. So since 19 days ago, things have just skyrocketed. So let me share with you where the value of a Bitcoin has been since I got involved. Back in April when I got started, I was fortunate. I bought a lot of Bitcoin at, $1,200, $1,500, $1,700. And within the first 6 months, these Bitcoins were going up 200, 300, 400%. So it was on October 19th when Bitcoin was at 5,600 that I talked to some local clients here in the area that I live in the United States, in the state of Utah. But as I said, internationally, I started sharing this with friends that when it was at $10,000. Now, maybe some of you have checked this, but as of about 40 minutes ago in preparation for this, Bitcoin, of course, goes up and down, but it has gone up 8,930, not quite $30, about $8,900 here in the last 19 days. So today, look at the prices. Bitcoin, you can see 18,930. Ethereum has had a wonderful day. My goodness, it's gone up nearly 12% in one day. Compare that to the 1% per annum you get sometimes by putting your money in a local bank or savings and loan. Litecoin also has just been exploding, a 15% increase in one day. I think a lot of it has to do with Bitcoin now being traded on the futures market. So in the last 19 days, since I started talking to my clients, Bitcoin has gone up 88.7%. Ethereum's gone up 68%. Litecoin has gone nuts. It's gone up 310%. We'll talk some strategies in just a minute.
Yes.
Hey, Raymond. Hi. Hi. Did I hear Uncle Raymond in the background there? Well, they're still working on that. But friends, since I did the webcast with you on Friday afternoon, so just the last 2.5 days, Bitcoin itself has gone up over $1,200. Now, I know it wasn't possible for you to buy that very first evening. That's what we're going to be doing this evening, helping you do. But just realize you would have paid back your investment in my program, 1.5 times already. It's just, you made a great decision. You really did. As I told you back on December 10th, they launched on one of the futures trading markets. And earlier today, they launched on an even larger trading market. And of course, the price is fluctuating a bit more because so many new people are getting in. but things continue to rise and to go up in value. Raymond, you on yet? Getting close. I can tell he's getting close. So I want to show you a couple of quick screens that you'll have access to by one of the apps I'm going to recommend. Raymond?
Right. Hello.
Yes.
Right Thurston. Jason.
Yes. Hi, who am I talking to? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can. Who's this?
It's Raymond.
Oh, well, good, my friend. You're on. You know, I'm going to do.
It's been so difficult to get on. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. Raymond, all your friends knew that you were trying to get on for sure. In fact, I want to just see your face for a second. Oh, you're still not on there. Okay, I guess they'll get your.
Listen, we're connected through Steven's phone.
Actually,
I'm on speaker to Steven's phone, so you won't be able to see me.
All right. Well, Raymond, give me just, my friend, I know all your wonderful clients around the world that are joined us. They're thrilled to have you on. I'm glad you're there on Steven's phone and you jump in anytime. I'm just kind of going through a few things that have happened since I talked to him on Friday. And I would say in just about 5 or 6 minutes, we'll be ready for you there on your phone or your laptop to get you set up on a cryptocurrency account. Is that okay?
Okay, I'm excited.
Great. Well, Raymond, I was just saying to them.
For 6 minutes.
Okay. Raymond, I was just saying to him, because they can see this screen and see me, that just today, Bitcoin has gone up 3%. I mean, and compound that over the course of a year. It's gone up over $19,000. It's settled right about here, but you can see it just dips up and down during the day. It's had a high of 19,349, a low of 18,380. For the last week, it's had nearly a 12% gain. Incredible. For the last month, it's had a 142% increase. And for the year, just a mind-boggling 2,200%. So 20 times your money for those of you that have been in. Are you trying to ask something, my friend?
No, I'm just amazed at these stats.
Yeah, I'm going to show them just 2 quick slides on the other 2. Another one of the larger cryptocurrencies that's been traded is called Ethereum. And I'm just going to show you for the month and the year, but you can sort of look at the graph here. Ethereum just exploded back on about the December the 11th. And just this month alone, it's gone up 127%. And for the year, look at this, friends, a 10,000% increase. So in January, you could have bought Ethereum at $7, and today it's at $789 as of 6:16 this evening, which you can see at the top of my screen. Let me do one more. This is Litecoin. Litecoin has gone up 35% this week. And even though you see these ups and downs, it's because so many new people are getting on board because of it being traded internationally now in the futures market. And this month, Litecoin has gone up 417%. Friends, 417% is a good return, over 5 years. But to have it happen in 1 month is mind-boggling. And look at this for the year. Just like Ethereum, gone up nearly 10,000%. So I want you to know that what I'm going to recommend to Raymond to do and all of you to do in just a minute, you'll be able to see these same graphs, these same prices. So where to buy your Bitcoin? Now, this has been kind of fun for me today. I've had to redo this training presentation because typically I'm doing it for people just in primarily the United States or Canada. I want you to know, to the best of my knowledge, these first 3 I'm going to recommend to you are something all of you can participate in. I customized it for Canada because I've been doing a lot of webcasts in Canada for Raymond and his associates. But Coinbase, I believe, is the best app and the best wallet, so to speak, for you to set up. And we're going to be doing that a little later this evening with Raymond, maybe in the next 5 to 6 minutes. An affiliate of Coinbase is called GDAX. And sometimes it makes sense to transfer your cryptocurrencies from Coinbase to GDAX. And then the next one is called CoinCap. And I think I've got a screen where I want to show you this. So this next screen, so if you've written these down, Coinbase, GDAX, and CoinCap. Okay, here's a screenshot I took earlier in the day of CoinCap. It lists all of the 1,000+ cryptocurrencies. But what it does is it lists the top 10 based on the market capitalization rate. I don't want to get too technical, so I'm pointing here. Just look at line 1 where it has Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a market cap of nearly $300 billion. Huge. You can see the price, but look over on available supply. This is really key if you're wondering why Bitcoin has consistently been so outstanding and why it's the #1 cryptocurrency in the world. There are only like 16.5 million of these available. They're not going to make any more, which means they can divide these in half or by fractions or in thousands or whatever, but the total amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist is 21 million. Now contrast that with Ethereum. There's still 96 million of those that are potentially available. And that one of the reasons why it explains for the big price fluctuation between the two. And Litecoin #5, there's about 54 million of that out there. I'm saying that sometimes the supply can indicate a good reason for the demand when things are going up. But CoinCap is an app that you all should be able to bring up in your app store. These are free apps, and I just wanted you to see that. All right, now, because Raymond is in Canada, he's in Toronto right now, he's back from his international travels, and because I'm going to have him join tonight, I'm going to recommend to him a couple of other Canadian-only type exchanges, but you can find the same thing in the country or the area you're from, but Coinbase will work for all of you. Raymond, I just want to tell you there's one called Canadian Bitcoins that's based out of Ottawa, the capital, and so that's in Ontario, same province you're in. There's another one called Satoshi Counter, named after the first name of the man who was the inventor of Bitcoin. That exchange is actually in Montreal. And then there's one called Bit Access. And the key to this is they have a lot of ATMs, Raymond, around Canada. And that last line there, Bit Access, is funded by the government of Canada. So again, it's just terrific. I'm gonna send these all out to everyone. As I send you that new ebook I promised on Buy More Bitcoin, I'll send these out to you as well, so you don't have to write frantically tonight. Again, I just took a snapshot of one to show Raymond that on Canadian Bitcoins, he can do this in Ottawa. I'm down here. He can do cash in person, and he can use a credit card. He can do it by mail. He can do it by direct debit from his bank account. You'll see at the bottom, it's, ease of use is average, privacy's good, speed's fast, it varies. It's a trusted one. And you always want to do your due diligence. Now, here's 3 others. And Raymond, from all of my Canadian clients now that are buying and selling Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, they feel that maybe this top one right here, the Quadriga CX, is maybe the one that they like the most. And it's based out of Vancouver. So Quadriga CX, based in Canada, but in Western Canada. And there's 2 other here. I just wanted to pull up 6. I want to say for all of you listening that simply by typing into Google or something as simple like, what are the best Bitcoin exchanges for England or for Australia or for the United States? You're going to see varying recommendations, but no matter who writes the article, because some people are biased, you're going to eventually see one that sticks out, and I would encourage you to do your due diligence. This is just a little more information for Rega on Quadriga, and you always want to look at things like the liquidity and volume. In Raymond's case, he might like to be on one that's 100% Canadian, just like our friends that are from Australia would like to be 100% Australian or 100% British. This particular one, besides Bitcoin, trades Ethereum, and security is excellent with these particular accounts. Okay, here's what you've all waited for. Raymond, I'm going to do this with you now. For privacy reasons, I want you just to do it where you're at, but I want all our friends listening, before we get into the live question and answer, to see how easy this is. So you can, on your laptop, friends, or on a phone afterwards, but I'm going to show you the actual screenshots. We're going to get, as my kids say, Uncle Raymond, we're going to get him signed up so he can buy and sell Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, I pulled this up for Canada, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when we actually bring it up. So here we go. This is, if you typed in a Coinbase.com on a laptop, this is the screen you would see. Buy and sell digital currency. Right below it, in case you can't read it, Coinbase is the world's most popular way to buy and sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, which are the three I've invested in. You simply enter your email address. Easy, right? Some of you may have two different email addresses. In theory, you could set up two different accounts. As you scroll down this page, it says that there's been over $50 billion in digital currency that's been exchanged on Coinbase. So, really good track record. It's supported in 32 countries. That's very positive. That's outstanding. And I know this 10 million number is probably low now because just in the last few weeks, they say they're getting, I don't know, a couple 100,000 people or more a day that are just coming on board. This is just taking off. So, Raymond, as you scroll down a little bit more, it'll tell you how to get started, how to fill things in, and I'm going to give you actual pictures so our friends at home. Okay, so now Raymond's going to create an account. I wanted, for security reasons, at first I thought we'd just have him type things in, but since you're all clients of Raymond's and you're all clients of mine, you all know that for your emailing with me, because this call is only open to people that are clients now of mine from Friday and of Raymond's, I have two email addresses. My public one is Gmail. That's what I'm using here, but you all have the private one, which my wife emails me on. It's the older one. It's AOL.com, but it's the same Thurston WJ. So in Raymond's case, he's going to type in Raymond Aaron. He's going to put in his email address, and he's going to choose a password. Now, I have to stop and stress something very, very important here, friends. The password you choose may be one of the most important passwords you will ever choose in your life. Some of you may use the same password on several different websites, or you may sometimes use something that's not very creative, like, password 1234. Can't do that here. You have to pick a password that you can remember, that you can never forget. In fact, I want you to write this down, please. Put a big asterisk by it. I want you not just to store it on your phone or in the cloud. I want you to write whatever this password is down on a piece of paper and then put it in a safety deposit box or put it somewhere that's fireproof and waterproof. You just need to have something active and unique for you. So let me give you a hint here, just some tips. I'm not being disrespectful to, whether you have either male or female, but someone told me that their password is my spouse likes to spend money. And they either have the entire phrase or they'll take the first letter of it and then with a number, a year that's significant to them in some way or the other. So you want to have something that you'll never forget, but no one else can ever break because this controls your digital wallet. So after you've chosen a password, obviously in this case, I chose the state I'm from, which is Utah, but you'll see on another one, you just choose Canada or you choose England or whatever. And they want to make sure that you're not a robot and that you're at least 18 years or older. So once you do that, you create an account. But first of all, they're going to test me to make sure I'm not a robot or someone. So they want me to select all the images with cars. Some of my clients and countries have said that they're not asked this question, but they get other security questions. So I very astutely looked in anything, whether the car was big or small. I put a little X mark by it. I then hit the verify button at the bottom, and they said, thank you. We're going to verify you're not a robot. And now you're to the last page, friends. Oh, they're going to send you an email to your address. In this case, there's lots of good security and backup on this. And then once you've done that, you get this final screen. Now, obviously, I didn't want Raymond or myself putting down any personal information, but I want you to see what this looks like. You put in your legal name. Well, W. Thurston's not my legal name. I just did it for this example. Your birth date, your address. You can see down here, it says country or click to change your country. And then the bottom half of this is they're going to ask you something and what you intend to do this. And, you could either say business or investing. They're just going to ask you a couple of simple questions. And friends, that's it. Now you're done. And there are a couple of questions you're going to ask me, which I'm going to answer in just a minute. Now, if I've gone through this too fast, Raymond and I are, thanks to our friend Steve, whose voice you had early, we're going to record this. We're going to send you the link. So you'll have a chance to review this leisurely at your own pace. But Coinbase is one I'd highly recommend to you. More and more each day, at least where I live, these Bitcoin machines are popping up. I know several companies, including my sons. Raymond, I don't know if you knew this, but my oldest son, they only pay their employees in Bitcoin. And so when the people, yeah, really, I know. And so when he pays his employees in Bitcoin, they can either go to an ATM like this and get cash immediately, or they can just keep it in their Bitcoin account, which after paying bills is a pretty smart thing to do. I know where Raymond lives, there's a lot of these Bitcoin ATMs, and I think we're going to find out from our clients in the UK and over in Australia and New Zealand and some of the other English speaking countries. They'll let us know what they have or they don't have so we can make this better for our clients over there. All right. Now, these next 3 pages I think are pretty important. I've done, Raymond, this live online training. This is my 4th time. I've done it with other individuals, but never with my best friend. So I'm glad you're on here. All of you saw this screen on Friday. Raymond didn't see it because he's been traveling. I've got 3 pages of strategies for you. Consider testing a percentage of this slowly. I was asked by one of the other people that did this with me. They said, well, it sounds like both your sons have done better than you have in the cryptocurrencies. And it's true. Raymond, I think my oldest is a crypto millionaire. And my youngest has done mining in the early days and has a lot of Bitcoin. But being a little older, I'm a bit more conservative. So I initially just tested a small percentage of my income. I've learned that in those early weeks and months, I took profits occasionally. What I mean by this is I bought my initial Bitcoin at about $1,200 each. When Bitcoin had gone up to about 3,600 or tripled, I took some profits. When it got up to like 7,000, I took some more profits. And you'll see why in just a second. I believe that you need to take a 3 to 6 month approach on this. Right now, there is so much excitement. So many people are getting into this. The prices are just out of sight. They're growing exponentially, but at some point they're going to level off. They might even back up a bit, which has happened in the past. But if you take a 3 to 6 month approach, I think you're going to be very, very happy with the results. Don't put all your money in this. Now, my oldest son, who's a lot younger than I am, he'd tell you to mortgage your home and max out your credit cards and do everything. I just don't think there's wisdom in that. I've always believed you ought to have your money or your financial eggs, so to speak, in different baskets. You can actually set limits on your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency accounts. So if there are sudden decreases and you're not comfortable, you don't ever want to lose more than 5% or 10%, you would set a limit that they'd sell for you. But underline this one, just like I have it, please consider eventually taking out all of your initial investment. Raymond, all the money I put in, and I put in a good amount when I got started in that first month, my initial investment is long since been out of this. And as I said on the Friday webcast, I'm not a gambler, but there's a term, playing with the house's money, where you're not using your own funds anymore. You're playing with profits. And that's why I'm excited each day when I get on, because if it goes up or it goes down, it's just all profit to me. But it's been going up, as you can see, incredibly. Now, that's what I shared Friday. So I want to do 2 more pages of this. And then Raymond and I will answer any questions that you have on this. Okay, here's, based on these live trainings, these were some of the great questions I've had in the past. So I wanted to address them now. Some of you that are getting involved, I'm thinking of some of my first international clients that heard me speak on this, what was it, 19 days ago or whatever, they still haven't taken action. And yet in those 19 days, it's gone up over $8,000. And I don't know why they're waiting, But you don't have to put a lot into this. You don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. If you've got $100, if you've got $500, got 1,000, try it. And Raymond, I want you to hear me say again now, as I did on Friday, Raymond and I were just here to tell you what we're doing ourselves. We make no money when you join Coinbase. We make no money when you buy and sell like a stockbroker would. We're just going to tell you what we've done, ask you to do your due diligence, and consider maybe trying some of it yourself. But if we point you in one direction or another, there's no back end benefit to us. Getting approved can take time. For example, the Coinbase approval that I just did with Raymond, he should be good to go now. They may come back and ask him for a picture of his driver's license. That's not uncommon. Sometimes they'll want him to send in a picture of him actually holding his driver's license, showing the front and back. They did that with me. I was fine with that. I've had clients say that sometimes they ask you to take a picture of your passport. Again, it's a security issue. Raymond, the other exchange that I mentioned in Vancouver, the Quadriga CX, my Canadian clients that have gotten on that one said that approval took more like 3 to 4 days. They're glad they're on it now, but it just took a lot longer than the Coinbase, and they were a little frustrated initially because they wanted to get in to buy and sell. Please know that when your accounts are initially set up, now Raymond is hugely successful, obviously a multi-millionaire from all the things he's done himself, and he's helped so many of his students become multi-millionaires, but limits can be low at the beginning of setting up an account. It's not uncommon for Coinbase to tell people, okay, your limit is $250 a week, and you're going nuts because you want to buy a lot more than that. Well, I'm going to talk on how you can do it, but don't be offended if that happens. As you buy and sell, or as people transfer things to you, your weekly limits will rise and rise. I'm not a big trader. I'm in this for the long haul, and I think my weekly limit now, Raymond, is about 20,000. And my son that's doing this all the time and trading and whatnot, he's like at 100,000. So don't be offended if your limits are low. They will rise based on your activity. It's a great idea to link your account, I'm referring to Coinbase, to a credit card or to your checking account. That way you'll have the ability to buy using a credit card or have them take it out of checking. They're going to charge you any appropriate, sometimes credit cards will charge you whatever their normal percent is for a cash advance or something like that. And they'll also tell you before you finalize the transaction how long it will be before it shows up in your account. I'm told that the credit cards surprisingly show up faster than the checking. I have bought through my checking account. I haven't bought through a credit card yet. The transaction takes place right away, but sometimes it's a few days before it shows up in your account. You'll always have the ability to, if you don't like the time frame, to just not click the final confirm button. So it never hurts to check. Here's how I got a lot of my cryptocurrencies. You can have other Coinbase members transfer Bitcoin to you. And that's the abbreviation acronym for Bitcoin, BTC. So, for example, I have two sons. They both are in this. They periodically need cash for something, and a lot of their monies are tied up in cryptocurrency, and they'll say, Dad, can you give me this cash, and I'll just put an equivalent of Bitcoin into your Bitcoin wallet on Coinbase. And I'll say, that's fine. And I let them do that for a while until I had my dollar amounts about as high as I wanted to be in the early months. So any of you that have friends that are members, consider doing that. Just like there's more and more companies down here that want to be paid. Raymond, there's a company down here. I'm not sure if it's in Canada or other places. It's called overstock.com. But for about 5 years, they encourage all their clients to pay them with Bitcoin. And obviously, that's a shrewd move on their part. One more page of strategies before we get to the Q&A. People say, Wright, are there fees when you're buying and selling on Coinbase and some of the others? Yes, there are fees. What are they? Well, it can vary. For the longest time, you were charged 1% when you bought and when you sold. Um, Now, more recently, Coinbase, I think, has moved it up to 1.5%. But when you transfer between members, just hypothetically now, if Raymond transferred some Bitcoin to me on Coinbase, or I transferred some Bitcoin to him, there wouldn't be a transfer fee. There wouldn't be that 1 or 1.5%. So that's why it's smart sometimes to do it among friends or family. Now, they may still charge you what they call a blockchain fee, which may be $15 or $20, but that's just part of using the services, something to be expected. Another thing I've observed in my 8, 9 months doing this, usually prices seem to level off or go down on the weekends. Now, that hasn't happened the last few weekends because Bitcoin, the last 2 Sundays, has hopped on these future exchange markets, and everybody and their brother has been buying them. But I find that sometimes people, when they're not at work during the week, they'll get home, they're looking at their account, they decide to either take some profits or whatever. Price goes down. So sometimes, if you're thinking about buying, sometimes buying on the weekend can be a wise thing to do. Be careful. The CC here doesn't stand for credit card; it stands for cryptocurrency. And what I'm saying to be careful of, there isn't a day goes by now that I don't get a bunch of emails or unsolicited advertisements on Facebook or Instagram from people that are saying you need to get on the next Bitcoin. And they're trying to get you to put money into some of these cryptocurrencies that are at a penny or 5 cents or a dime. And you think, oh, wow, look at all the potential for that to go up. You just have to be careful. You have to do your due diligence, because just like people that tout stocks, if enough people buy a stock, it's going to go up. But generally, it's the person that's sort of promoting it that'll sell out at the top, take their money, and then people get left holding it. So be careful. I would also say avoid buying what you can't sell. There's like over 1,000 cryptocurrencies. And I've had a couple of my clients say, well, I've tried some of these penny ones and I want to get out of them now. How do I sell them? Hey, it's much harder to find exchanges on the ones that aren't in the top 10 or 20. So be careful on that. And finally, as we get to the Q&A now, let's avoid checking prices too often. Okay? What I mean is, it's so easy to click on your Coinbase free app or to go to CoinCap and watch what the markets are doing, but they can fluctuate a lot. And I made the mistake in my early days, my early month is I just didn't understand that sometimes after hitting highs, they're going to go back a bit. $500, $1,000 even, I'm talking on Bitcoin. But you just, look at it over that month to 3 month period and look at it historically, and I think you'll be very, very pleased. So the homework assignment for tonight, before we do the Q&A, and this is applying to my friend Raymond, but you can all do the same from the other countries you're in or in the US. Your homework assignment, now again, I'm talking to Raymond, so I did it in Canadian. I want Raymond, as a homework assignment, to look at some of the other Bitcoin exchanges, some of the other Canadian exchanges. I mentioned 6. Canadian Bitcoin, Satoshi Counter, BitAccess, Quadriga CX, which I think is what he'll end up with, bitbuy.ca, and QuickBT. They've got 5 or 6 key ones, and all of you, no matter what country you're listening from, Google it. That would be the best way to find it. Raymond, something you may have missed when you hopped on, but I'm sending you. You were so gracious. You pressured me in a loving friend way to give these people so much with my package that it's all coming to them in a series of like 6 different emails. They've got 3 of them, and I'm sending them later this evening when we finish up in the next hour or two. You're all going to get another ebook on how to buy more Bitcoin, which I think you're now a little more advanced. I think you're ready for. Of course, you're going to get in another day or two those collectible bonuses, which include those 35 videos, which I think are thrilling if you're into any kind of genealogy or family history or document preservation. You've got a Millionaire's Retreat, you've got the counseling, you've got the Power Summit. All of you on this call, Raymond, I don't know if you knew, but again, just because you're like a brother to me, all these people also got 2 free nights on my island in Panama. And you think they're going to like that?
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
I mean, Raymond took and invited me to come. What'd you take? About 35 of your top clients from around the world, and you held a wonderful retreat there.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. So, friends, as I said, and I want to end now before the Q&A, don't wait to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin and wait. And having said that, we're now, Raymond, to the question and answer. I'm gonna end on this one now. Raymond, you or Steve may be able to see better the questions that are coming in. So, friends, I tried to answer a lot of things that have come up in the past question-wise. But if you have a question, I mean, it's really fun. It's hard to track Raymond and I down at the same time. And obviously, I'm going to know a little bit more about this right now than he does. But I guarantee you, for those of you that don't know, Raymond is brilliant. He's really a rocket scientist. He's got a degree in nuclear physics or something. So, Raymond, I maybe am not seeing it from my end, but are you and Steve getting any questions typed in that people would like answered?
I'm on the phone. I can't see anything.
Okay.
That was the only way I could get in.
Okay. I am looking myself here at the screen that says questions, and I'm not seeing anything. Again, our technical person may not be on. Friends, you've all got
I'm back here.
Okay, Steve.
All right. Okay, so we have Linda Barron. She asks,
okay,
is Litecoin traded in futures market?
Linda, wonderful question. I don't believe yet. Right now, they're trading futures, as I understand it, just in Bitcoin. And I think they're doing it in 1 Bitcoin and 5 Bitcoin increments. And from what I read, is they're asking for those that are buying it on margin, where you're not putting down 100%. I think they're asking to put down like a third. So in the case of, and it might even be less than that, but no. And friends, I don't mind telling you, Linda, I have bought Litecoin as well. I bought my Litecoin for when it was at 40. So I'm real happy it's at 300 now. I mean, that's a good rate of return. I bought my Ethereum at a little higher. I bought mine at 300, but still it's at 700 and something. So my money has doubled. It's the Bitcoin where I've had like the 1,000 or 1,200% return. Linda, just one more thing. I can't advise you how to invest your money, but based on my 9 or 10 months, if you had a certain amount of money you wanted to invest, even though tonight I showed you there's been tremendous gains with the Litecoin and it's very, very solid, I would still probably put the majority, I'd say 60 or 70% into Bitcoin, and then the remaining, 25 to 40% into either Ethereum or Litecoin. But Linda, great question. Thank you very much. Hey, Steve, how come I'm not seeing these questions on my screen?
I'm not sure, right? I can see them on mine.
Well, good. That's the important thing. Ask away. And Raymond, you hop in here if you've got anything to contribute, okay?
We have a second from Linda. Can you use your RRSPs or a tax-free savings account for the purchase of Bitcoin?
Boy, are you asking good questions. And I can tell you this. I know in the U.S. you can. And this is something now Raymond and I together will look into that, Linda. You can look into it. Everybody's kind of sharing information. In the U.S., you can do it, but they really charge you a high premium on the front end. Based on how Bitcoin is growing, it seems like, okay, it's a wise thing to do, but I mean, it's not like 1 or 2%. The people that handle your IRA are asking I forget the amount because I haven't done it myself, but I've got friends that have, and they ask quite a bit up front, like 10% or something. Then you have no more fees after that, but that's setting up the account. So, Linda, that's very wise on your part, I think, to maybe sock a few of these away, because one thing we didn't mention, but I showed you on Friday, all the different scenarios whereby Bitcoin could be in the next, by 2020. Some people are saying it could be as much as 500,000 to 1 million each. Even very cautious people think it's going to hit, in the 23 to 25,000 range in January sometime. Again, no guarantees, no promises, but Linda, good for you. Thank you. Steve, what's the next question?
Moving forward here, we have Trevor. Trevor says there was an article in the Ost Financial Review newspaper on Saturday warning that Bitcoin investors could be left empty-handed if a straightforward grassroots bubble occurs because the technology is unpinning. Bitcoin could buckle in a sudden rush for the exit. Any comments, Wright?
Yes, Trevor. Hey, good. Trevor and I have exchanged some emails. Good to. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in person, face to face. It's a great group. Trevor, it used to be, when I got in, that there was like 8 negative articles for every 2 positives. So 80% were negative, 20% are positive. Now, when I search things, the fact that Wall Street's hopped in, I'm seeing positive. Again, I live in the US, but I'm seeing positive from the Wall Street Journal and from Fortune and Forbes and Barron's and these others. But you've still got a few investment advisors, contrarians, that are saying just what your article said. Trevor, I hope you heard me loud and clear. I'm an optimist. I'd like to think that it's going to keep growing, maybe not at the spectacular rate it did in 2017, but I hope you heard me say that I took my profits out. At certain points, I took until I got all my money out, and now I have nothing in. There's always a downside risk, and so buyer beware. But I think there's a lot of people. I have friends who, because of one negative article written by an unqualified person, uh, didn't jump in at Bitcoin when it was at 1,000 at the beginning of the year, or 1,200 when I did, and they still haven't taken the action. Can I tell you, Trevor, and this is my personal opinion, I want to say this publicly. I'm not a financial advisor. I told you that. I'm an investor and entrepreneur. I don't think banks are too excited about the idea of people taking their money out of banks where the bank controls it and the bank pays you 1% a year, and us moving it from the banks to the cryptocurrencies. They want to have some control over us. So I would expect more negative articles to come from banks. That's just my personal opinion. Thanks, Trevor, for that question. Steve, what's the next one?
We have Danilo. When is the best time/day to buy Bitcoin?
Well, you can see the screen. Hopefully, you're looking at as Raymond and I are, or Raymond's listening in. I myself, I'm probably I thought it might go up over this weekend, but I'm poised potentially to buy some more myself. But I'm in for the long term. I read a wonderful article that said someone said, why don't people just buy one Bitcoin, just put it, in a safe place like Coinbase, and just leave it there and not worry about it. Now, because the price is higher, maybe you buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. Maybe you put in 1,000 or 2,000, and then just kind of see what happens. It's like stocks. It's like anything else. If anyone could really accurately forecast when things were going to go up and down, no one really can. You can look at trends. You can see what's going on. I personally am bullish on this, but be careful. Make your own decisions. Okay. Thanks, Steve.
We have Michael. How often do you buy or sell Bitcoin?
Okay, Michael, my oldest son, who Raymond knows, who's 41, happily married with 6 kids. He's a crypto millionaire. He reminds me of that all the time. He's buying and exchanging daily. I'm not. In my early stages, about the only transactions, quite frankly, I've done are I've taken out my profits. I've taken out my initial investment. One time I had too much cash sitting in my checking account that was paying me nothing. So I didn't buy a whole Bitcoin. I think I bought like a half a Bitcoin or something. So I'm not a big trader. And I know some people that do this a lot, but I can't advise you from that. Maybe you've had success with that on the stock market. Raymond, jump in here. Have you ever been big on buying and selling stocks?
No, I don't like the stock market because I have no control. But
Well,
the Bitcoin is so brand new that it seems that as millions more people get into it, the demand will be so great that the price will continue to rise for a while.
I would agree with that. Can I say to all of you listening to this, it's good to be skeptical. It's good to be cautious. At my age, I'm in more of what I call a perpetuating wealth than a creating wealth mode. I had no idea that my cryptocurrencies would do so well. I mean, it's just made 2017. I mean, I make a lot of money from my collectibles and from my real estate every year, and I'm just used to that. But to make so much from these, and I don't expect it to stay on the same, track, but I'm getting 1% a year from the major banks in the United States. 15, 20% would be okay. So it's okay to be skeptical, and it's okay to ask these questions. And I want to say one thing Raymond did on stocks. In my lifetime of buying stocks, here's my track record. I take a large fortune and I turn it into a smaller fortune. I have no control over it. The brokers make money whether we gain or whether we lose, which is unfortunate. I think in my entire life I've had 4 stocks that I've made money with. I'll tell you what they are. I'm not saying to buy them. I used to work for IBM. My IBM stock has done well for me over the years. I was fortunate to buy Facebook when it was at 27. I think it's at about 180 now. My Apple stock has done really well for me. And I've got a company that sometimes is good at doing these experimental drugs for heart disease and other things that they sometimes then will sell. But other than that, boy, like Raymond hit it right on the nose, you have no control over it. So great questions. Steve, what else?
So we have a 2-part question from Linda here. Are there
Okay.
commissions on the buy and sell? And what is blockchain?
Okay. All right. 2 good questions. Yes. Linda, here's what happens. Within Coinbase, I showed you the actual screen. I mean, I could try to find it in and go back to it, but anytime you pull it up and you look at the prices, you're going to see Bitcoin, you're going to see Ethereum, you're going to see Litecoin in the graphs, because that's all that Coinbase will let you buy and sell. I decided about 2 months ago, right before Litecoin took off, that Litecoin had been very flat for several months. It just wasn't doing anything, and Bitcoin was going quite up. So I wanted to transfer a lot of my Litecoin to Bitcoin. So here was the process. I sold into what is called a cash wallet there on Coinbase. So I sold my Litecoin into the wallet. I waited for a couple of hours for it to be verified, and then I bought Bitcoin with it. I was charged a little fee both times. It's how these things are making their money. I want to just say something too, so that nobody gets nervous. Obviously, Raymond and I don't have control over this either. But let's say that a friend is going to send you $2,000 worth of Bitcoin. Well, by the time it hits your Bitcoin wallet, 2-3 hours later, it may not be 2,000. It might be, $1,925. And some of the difference will be because of the fees, but some of the difference will just be between the price fluctuation that happens sometimes in the 5 or 10 minutes when you're initially buying and selling. And that's just part of it. Okay, what is a blockchain? And Raymond, you could probably hop in on this, but it's like a ledger sheet. Okay, Linda, if you can imagine a ledger that is out there now in the internet, the cloud world. And so when there's an exchange that I told you about earlier, where somebody exchanged Bitcoin for a pizza, they take, if I was transferring Bitcoin to you, Linda, the blockchain would take the Bitcoin out of my account and they'd minus it, they'd add it to your account. But unlike banks where they just have like kind of one central place, there are thousands, maybe millions of computers all over that have access to the blockchain, not to your account, but they can see the transactions going on. So it's verifiable by many different sources. And so this blockchain technology, I think we're going to see more and more of that as a way of people exchanging goods and services in the future and getting away from the currencies. Raymond, anything you want to hop in on for a minute, my friend? Anything you want to ask?
No, I'm just enjoying listening. I'm learning so much. Thank you.
You alluded to something in one of your wonderful emails that I wanted to address. And friends, we don't want to go too long here because I know Raymond's got a dash and I've got something I'm going to do too. There is a term, mining. How do you mine for Bitcoin or other currencies? In the simplest way I can explain this, I have a son, one that's 41, another one that's 31. The 31-year-old is into computers and he's really bright, and he used to mine for Bitcoin. And when you mine for a currency, there's a series of algorithms and things to solve. And Bitcoin likes different programmers and computers getting in, and they actually will award fractions of Bitcoin or Bitcoin for people that solve certain equations that they're working on. And it used to be that if you had so much computing power and you put in so much time, you could almost get a certain amount of Bitcoin on a daily basis. But as time goes on and as more people are mining the currencies, it becomes exponentially more difficult, to the point where I've seen pictures now of people that have storehouses the size of football fields running computers nonstop, which uses a lot of electricity and a lot of power. And it used to be that they would bring in probably millions a month in Bitcoin, no more. People that are mining now are going for the currencies where there's more of them and that they're at a lower dollar amount. I've not done any mining myself. Don't think I would personally, but if any of you are listening are really savvy and into computers, it's something you want to look into. So, Steve, some final questions, and then we'll wrap up here in about 5-6 minutes.
Okay, we have, where is the remaining supply of Bitcoin held, and how do we know for sure that there will not be any more issued?
Well, the promise made back in 2009 when it was launched that it would be limited to 21 million. That's one of the things driving the supply and demand. Occasionally, some of these cryptocurrencies will do something called a fork, an FORK, where they'll split off a new type of currency from the main currency. When they do this, all the existing shareholders, so if Raymond had 10 Bitcoin and Bitcoin decided to do a fork, Raymond would automatically get 10 of whatever they were forking into, if that makes sense. Again, we don't have a guarantee on it, but I think that the success of Bitcoin, the fact that it has a 300 billion capitalization rate, the fact that it has a track record, it's going mainstream, it's being traded by the largest banks and the largest exchanges in the world. I'd be very surprised if they messed with that winning formula. But friends, if they do, Raymond, I don't have any control over it. We can only, advise you based on what we're hearing as well. It's good. It's good to be skeptical. It's good to ask these questions. I don't foresee it. Steve?
And the last question here.
Okay.
Can you buy Ethereum and Litecoin on Coinbase?
Yes. Yeah. I have, friends. Those are the three. That's what they trade in. I've been told they're going to add maybe another one here. I have no inside information on any of this at all. I do know that this oldest son of mine, he has some friends that have literally started some of the cryptocurrency themselves, and I'm always interested to hear what they're doing. But in spite of get in on the ground floor, I have been happy with the results I've gotten from the three that I've been involved with this evening. And as I've said, I'll probably buy some Bitcoin by the end of the year. I may get a little Litecoin. I don't know that I'll get into Ethereum. I just no particular reason. Again, you can see a research, and you can go online and check these all out just by typing in the particular cryptocurrency. But you've looked at this same screen while I've been talking. I'm glad I hopped in at 1200. But Raymond, you didn't hear this, but I've got a neighbor that lives 3 doors from me here. In fact, next time you're visiting, we'll drive over there. He bought all his Bitcoin when it was 25 cents each. Okay. And nobody knows how much he bought, but our guess is he's worth close to $500 million. Okay. I know my oldest son bought his Bitcoin when it was like at $300 or $400 each. Dad, not being as bright, waited until it was 1,200 or 1,500 to get his. And I'm glad I did my due diligence. I checked things out, and that's all we want for you, friends. Steve, are there any final questions before Raymond and I each wrap up with some closing remarks?
Let's see here. We have Michael here for Canadians use Coinbase. Why should we consider Quadrix instead of anything else?
Great question. My understanding is that you can get on Coinbase no problem and you can buy no problem, but I've heard that sometimes it's harder to sell on Coinbase if you're in Canada. I'm not sure of the reasons why. I just know some people that I really respect, that Raymond knows and respects, have gone also. They've got a Coinbase account and they have the Quadriga CX out of Vancouver. And I have another friend that lives in Ottawa that's researching the one up there. I think, what was it? I don't have my screen here in front of me. But yes, I mean, you want to find the one that's best for you, that's easiest for you to access, especially if they have ATM machines, that offers the best fees. And I would think something with a good track record in country is always a nice second alternative. I don't want to get too technical on this, but I hold some of my Bitcoin. Well, I hold, some of my Bitcoin in Coinbase, but I hold some of it in GDAX, and my sons hold his in several different wallets, just for different security reasons as their dollar amounts go up and up and up. Friends, I'd like to just thank Raymond personally, not only for our friendship now. I mean, we've been close friends since I think about, what was it, Raymond? Was it about 1990, 1991 that I was first blessed to meet you? But we've done so many things together, and all we want is what's best for our clients. And I know I don't recommend anything that I haven't done myself, and I'm honored to be working with you. And I want to just say at the end, no matter what your religious beliefs or backgrounds are, I think we could all agree that as we get towards the end of the year, the focus should be more on families and relationships. No matter what, Raymond celebrates Hanukkah, I celebrate Christmas. We have other friends on the line from different religions, and we honor that. Don't let all that we've been talking about ruin your holiday season. Raymond and I are going to be just as excited January 1st to help you do all of these things. In fact, I want you to better understand collectibles. So as you make a lot of money in Bitcoin, I'm spending, quite frankly, the week after Christmas donating artwork and classical music to different libraries and universities to get tax deductions to shelter my real estate and Bitcoin income, which I taught you. I've also told you I just lined up a wonderful 2-week free trip, first-class airfare, 5-star hotel, free car rental for my wife and I in February over in Hawaii. And we often will do this in other countries. This is what I want for you. I want 2018 to be a great year where you have multiple streams of income, where you're not paying any more than you legally need to Revenue Canada or the IRS or whatever the taxation is, and that you're able to do. Raymond does something wonderful that I should do more of. He tries to set aside a little time each month just to do something that allows him to rest and relax and recharge his batteries. It's a very excellent habit to be in. But as someone now that's going to be a coach and mentor on your success team, all the best. Know that I'm here to answer your questions. Some of you have sent me emails that I haven't returned because I didn't tell you I don't return anything on Sunday. Okay, it's a church and family day. So I'll try to get to some of these emails today or tomorrow. But Raymond, let me turn it over to you, and thank you for introducing me to such wonderful people.
And I'm glad that you are such a great teacher and that you've helped them and me understand Bitcoin and the two others you mentioned a lot better. I really was in a fog about it. And the biggest shock is that your son, who runs a large business, pays their salary in Bitcoin. I had no idea that it was going like this, but I can see that people want to bypass banks. Banks are too much in charge. They set whatever rules they want. You have to live by them. And Bitcoin's the answer. People are going to go more and more to this rebellious thought of getting rid of banks and being their own bank. It's amazing. And
as we said to one of our wonderful listeners that asked the question, there's some very bright minds that, question the long-term stability and how long this will go on. But I'll give you an example. Warren Buffett, who in my opinion is a brilliant, brilliant man, he's one of the few people. Bill Gates is really bullish on Bitcoin. Sir Richard Branson's really bullish on Bitcoin. Warren Buffett isn't as much, but Warren Buffett is one of the largest shareholders in the world of Wells Fargo Bank. And if people are taking money out of Wells Fargo to buy Bitcoin, that's not good for his Wells Fargo stock. So you've always got to look behind what people say to see if possibly there's an ulterior motive. I'm just speculating on that.
Okay, well done.
Raymond.
Thank you. I've loved it. Bye-bye.
Yeah, give Karen and Emma a hug for me. Steve, thank you for coordinating this. And friends, I know that we'll get a recorded link of this to send to you. We look forward to working with you. Happy holidays, and know how much we appreciate you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.